So here we are again with Nick for his fourth instalment on the topic of HCI, and this time he's going to be talking about specific aspects of HCI designing.
Well,
and over to you.
The first thing that I'm going to talk about is Fittz Law, basically. And Fittz Law is a model of movement by humans in HCI, which was founded by Paul Fittz in 1954. And Fittz Law is used to calculate distances of movement with speed and accuracy and can be very helpful in aiding interface designs and interface evaluations. Fittz Law is also used to study and compare input devices such as trackpads and mice, and is able to predict user performance in common tasks such as point and select and drag and drop tasks and many more, stuff like that. The new Apple multi-touch trackpad was developed using Fittz Law, and in the trackpad analyses the movement of the fingers on the trackpad and can intricately tell how many fingers are being used on the trackpad at any point.
Is yours got a trackpad?
Yeah, it's got the multi-touch trackpad.
Is it something you can show us?
I might be able to get it to work. Yeah, I might be able to get it to work. I need the internet really to show you some of the things as well. But I don't know, let's go to Facebook. And then we'll go to, I don't know. Like, so for example, one finger allows basically just a normal movement. If you use two, you can scroll.
I see.
And then if you use three, you can go backwards and forwards through pages. And four, it provides you with expose and view all windows.
That's impressive.
And it can basically show your desktop for you as well.
Yeah.
So HCI, the actual Apple multi-touch trackpad was designed using Fittz Law. Yeah. I was researching it a bit before.
Okay.
And so basically that's what the trackpad does, and obviously it does one for pointing, 2 fingers for scrolling and browsing through files, 3 for going backwards and forwards through web pages, and 4 fingers for certain apps like exposing and window view. And it allows the user to interact with the Mac much easier and more efficiently, and just allows movement around the Mac and movement, browsing and stuff much easier and quicker. And then I'm going to move on to colour psychology. It was very cultural. Colour psychology was because everyone goes like boys wear blue and girls wear pink. It used to be very different. It used to be the other way around, and then over the years, culture has somehow changed this. So boys were seen wearing a lot of pink, and girls were seen wearing a lot of like baby blue. But blue is a very, very good colour actually. For an example that we could use for HCI would be Facebook, for example. It's a very trustworthy, calming and loyal colour. People use it as it appears to be a trustworthy site, and most like law firms would probably use blue because it's you can confide in us, you can trust us. You wouldn't really see one using like a big red aggressive colour actually some might do because it's like we'll win, but like most like law firms use blue. Certain things we see in everyday life are coloured specifically as well to engage our brain. So for example, fire trucks are red and are easily visible, but they use a blue light, which they can see as trustworthy. So they're saying that the services are quite trustworthy as well. Obviously, we're there for you when you need us and stuff. And the red is seen as a stimulating and exciting colour, and is used to grab the attention of the viewer. Another example would be McDonald's, because they use yellow, which is considered as a highly active colour and very visible colour, on a red background. The yellow is prominent on the red background and sticks out to the eye. So the red background, catches your attention. Then the big yellow McDonald's is like, oh well, McDonald's is there, so it's quite cleverly done. Different colours are associated with different things. Temperature of colour matters a lot too. For example, warm temperatures such as like red, orange, and yellow, and give a heat and motion sense from them, and they tend to stand out more against or alongside cool colours such as green and blue and stuff like that, which are associated with being more calming colours, which tend to be overpowered by the warm colours, and the cool ones sort of recede into the background when they're alongside each other. And the value of a colour as well, which is a measure of light, can also depend whether it can say, for example, if I had quite a deep blue and I changed the value so that it would be like sort of lighter, it'd be like spreading out like across a spectrum. It'd just be like very light shade of blue. Saturation's a measure of intensity as well. So basically, if I had quite a light blue, it would go to a really prominent, standing out like a big crystal blue sort of thing, if you know what I mean. And then there are also different types of colour schemes as well, which are like monochromatic, which uses one colour but with different values and saturations, and analogous.
I have different.
I know, it's quite hard, isn't it? Yep. Sometimes, yeah. One segment of the colour wheel with adjacent colours around it to complement it as well. There is also complementary, which I haven't written down, which is opposite ends of the colour wheel, which they use alongside each other to complement each other.
Which of those colour schemes would you recommend if you wanted, say, to create a quite a relaxed kind of feel? Which of those colour schemes would you say would perhaps be most effective for doing that?
Well, an example like Facebook, I'd say that it's sort of monochromatic because most of the shades, like if you look at it, we've basically got like a sort of like a deeper blue around the banner there where the Facebook is, and then like where the search bar and it's sort of like a slightly different value and saturation, and then that's also sort of a similar blue but a very, very, very
Okay.
like, you know,
Yep.
like a lighter colour.
Yep.
And then it moves on to white, which is basically, you know, the intense white, which is, you know, seen as quite a pure, you know, quite pure.
So if you wanted to do a site, then let's say, go to the opposite end of the screen, a site that was really kind of stimulating, active, and lively. What kind of colour scheme might you pick for that?
Probably go for like I'd probably say like an orangey yellow sort of thing, because the yellow is seen as quite an active page,
Right.
so, and orange is seen as quite like a, you know, like a warming page. So everyone would like, well, if you could imagine it as being in the real world, a yellow and orange site would be quite like active and moving around a lot, and there'd be all sorts of fancy like.
So that's kind of like an analogous one, but with particular colours.
Yeah.
Where might you think that a complementary colour scheme might be useful? And what kind of situation might you want to use something
I
like
would
that?
probably say that a complementary one would be used in something possibly like a law firm site, something like that. Maybe because the complements sort of the colours sort of bounce off each other, but they work well together, and you could use it to be like, you know, obviously you've got your calming colours as well, saying yeah, you can trust in us, but at the other end of the scale there's red on that blue page saying, well, we're going to win this battle for you. Say for example, I don't know, it's like, you know, no win, no fee. If you know, we 100% we're going to win this law battle stuff. And I think complementary would work quite well with that.
Okay, that's great.
Wicked.
Yep. Okay. Brilliant. Thanks.
Hey.